Okay, guys, so I have my microphone here, right? But something's going on with my USB converter type situation. So whenever I record and I did a test run, it I couldn't have any sound. And so today I'm just not going to use the microphone, but I am going to see if it's even a difference. I mean, I do like my microphone because it gets rid of a lot of background noise, but I'm going to use some tools to see how it works for this episode, but I'm definitely going to bring the microphone back. But just letting you know that you're going to see the mic right there, but I'm going to be talking without the mic. So let's get started, okay? What is up, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Plenty of Tiff. I'm your girl Tiffany, aka Opinionated Diva. Now, I looked up the significance of the number 26 to see if there was one. And did you know there are exactly 26 bones in the human foot? Which is highly appropriate because if this podcast doesn't take off soon, honey, these 26 bones of mine going straight on OnlyFans, all right, to sell some feet pics. Listen, these bills are not going to pay themselves, okay? But until that side hustle starts calling my name, we are locked in right here. And I have so much to get into this week. I'm so glad I come to you straight from my home studio because the Canadian wildfires are acting up again. The smoke has rolled back into NYC and the sky is giving us that eerie apocalyptic glow. On top of it being hot and humid, my eyes, my lungs, and my hair say no ma'am. If you're in NYC or anywhere near the East Coast right now, please stay safe, grab your mask, and protect those lungs, honey. We need you healthy, all right? Before we jump into the actual mess, I want to pause and celebrate the life of actor Hal Williams, who passed away at the age of 91 of natural causes. At this ripe age, I am of the belief that you can literally choose when you want to float your way out of this dumpster fire called Earth. But I digress. Most of us in my generation immediately picture him as Lester Jenkins on 227. But his career stretches all the way back to the 70s when he was Officer Smitty on Sanford and Son. He has also appeared on The Waltons, Private Benjamin, and most recently, the new Matlock reboot. And the best part, throughout decades in the industry, this man has managed to stay completely out of Hollywood drama. He's just a class act and a stand-up guy who made it his mission to show America what a loving, present, and compassionate Black father looked like on television. All right, y'all. We've got a pretty eclectic show lined up for you today, and it is not of my choosing. It is what the universe placed into my lap. Let's get into this week's segment, starting with the Diva Drop. I think we all can agree the Diva Drop heard around the world was the absolute madness that went down at Yankee Stadium this past weekend for Jay-Z's big 3-day anniversary run. No, I was not there, boo, but I still enjoyed it all the same. Hove brought out the culture, okay? We are talking Beyonce, Usher, Nas, honey, that man don't age and he stay fine. The Clips, Fat Joe, just to name a few. There was some major moments on that stage. But honey, on day 3, the extra innings finale on Sunday, it was supposed to start at 8 p.m. Tell me why Jay-Z, Sean Carter, S. Dot, Hove did not touch that stage until 12:15 in the morning. So it's Monday now. The amount of call outs from work had to be monumental. The issue, thousands of people were outside, clearly on CP time, but some folks rushed the gates who did not have tickets, trifling. So they had to lock down the stadium to keep everyone from getting trampled on. So I'm all for that. Safety first. So hold, I respect it. But standing in Yankee Stadium after midnight on a Sunday, waiting for a gig to start, these knees could never. The crowd was basically running on hopes, dreams, and $30 stadium alcoholic beverages, okay? There was a little performance drama because the soundstage issues were absolutely real on day 3. But honestly, I feel like if you were in that stadium, the energy was so electric, it wasn't really a thing. But you know how the internet is, right? So I have to talk about it. First up, our Golden Globe winner and Oscar-nominated girl herself, Teyana Taylor. She came out to sing Mary J's hook on Can't Knock the Hustle, but the sound system and her in-ear monitors were not getting along at all. But Tiana Taylor kept the energy going. I mean, hello, she is a Harlem girl sharing the stage with Jay-Z. He could have literally asked anyone to be up there with him, but he asked her. So she really didn't even have to explain herself, but she hopped on Instagram afterward and acknowledged that she had sound issues. But then she said that her gratitude was louder than any mic. Amen, sister. But then there was Rihanna. Oh, Riri. Ree came out for Run This Town and Bitch Better Have My Money. Now, it was not reported that she had sound issues, but her performance definitely got mixed reviews. She even told the crowd, y'all know I'm rusty. It's been a while. But you think she made any official statements after the fact? No, ma'am. Rihanna basically said, y'all are lucky I even got on that stage at all. She was on her Mary J. Blige. You hear me? She was like, I'm literally a billionaire, mother of three. I don't have to do this. I only need to stay black and die. But you will take this performance and you will like it. And honestly, the crowd loved every second of it. Hope ended up performing over 40 songs and the show wrapped up at 3 a.m., honey, on a Monday. New York, consider yourselves the real MVP. If you survive this smoke, you survive this heat, and you survived a 3 a.m. Jay-Z bedtime. So, did you go? Who went? Did you go to 1, 2, 3, or all shows? I know Charlamagne the God went to all 3. How sway? Well, he works with Rock Nation, but let me know your vibe in the comments. All right, this next story has been rumbling in people's tummies for weeks, literally, but it hit peak media coverage this week. We're talking about the parasitic outbreak that is spiking all across the country right now. And yes, we are talking about that good old cyclosporiasis. Just saying, the word makes my stomach turn. Now, I'm not going to go into the graphic symptom details because honestly, gross. But let's just say this little microscopic parasite leads to some extreme gastric issues. It is not pretty, it is not cute, and it will have you locked in your bathroom, questioning every life choice you've ever made. Let's look at the facts. Investigators are officially pointing fingers at shredded iceberg lettuce supplied by Taylor Farms that was sent to Taco Bell locations. And while there are thousands of cases nationwide, the CDC has officially narrowed down the origin of the specific Taco Bell outbreak to 5 states: Michigan, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Indiana. Now, this actually brings me to a major crossover with our next segment because I have a message. If any of you are out there purposely eating raw bag salads or running to Taco Bell to eat extra shredded lettuce right now, thinking, ooh, a little parasite is exactly what I need to lose those 5 pounds, honey, and get my hot girl summer right. I'm looking at you, and I am giving you a supersized, extra crispy Caesar salad side eye. Okay? Do not play with your health when it comes to that. There are better ways to get snatched. Okay? So here is your official Plenty of Tiff PSA. The CDC is reminding everyone to thoroughly wash all of your fresh produce under clean, running water before you eat, cut, or cook it. And please wash it like you should be washing your damn hands. Also, I just want to say, if anybody knows me, you know that I actually like Taco Bell. And so I'm not here for Taco Bell hate, okay? And I will be eating it again. I just don't know when because I'm a little scared right now. Speaking of washing our hands, let's wash our hands with the Diva Drop and move on to the next segment, which is my favorite: shine, shade, or side eye. Let's jump right in. First up, we are throwing some heavy shade and honestly a lot of sadness at the complete and utter financial disaster that is the Uncle Nearest premium whiskey brand. Y'all know I love to see the culture win. I like whiskey too. This brand was founded back in 2017 by Fawn Weaver and her husband Keith, and it was built on a beautiful historic legacy. It was named after Nathan Nearest Green, the formerly enslaved master distiller who literally taught Jack Daniel how to make whiskey. And just 2 years ago, Forbes valued the company at over $1 billion. A Black-owned billion-dollar spirits empire? Honey, I couldn't cheer loud enough. But also, what the hell happened? Last August, their lender sued them for defaulting on over $100 million in loans. The bank claims Uncle Nearest was inflating their barrel inventory numbers by $21 million just to secure more credit. And then the court documents revealed that Jay-Z's venture firm, Marcy Penn, gave Uncle Nearest a low-key $20 million loan to keep them afloat. I know Jay-Z is somewhere saying, now why am I in it? But instead of paying the bank, Fawn allegedly funneled that $20 million into a separate bank account she controlled to hide it from the creditors. Fawn, girl. A federal judge did what judges do. They appointed a receiver to take over the company. And in my opinion, The receiver has been messy boots. They literally locked Fawn and Keith completely out of the company systems, just shut down their access, honey, like they were trying to lock out a toxic ex from the house, okay? And just this month, the receiver officially fired Fawn and Keith from their own company, backdated, honey, to June 1st. But what really sealed Fawn's downfall was her behavior of all places on social media. Diva sigh. Instead of putting down the phone and letting her legal team do their job, Fawn went on social media and just went on a complete rampage. She posted videos claiming, I built this, I own this, and launched Operation Clear the Shelves, begging the community to run out and buy up all the whiskey to prove that the brand was fine. Then she illegally tried to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy behind the receiver's back and hopped on IG to announce that the receivership was over when it was not. So the federal judge had to step in and shut her down, basically saying, ma'am, you have zero authority here. Stop causing confusion on purpose. And girl, of course we want to see you win, but this ain't the way. In Fawn's case, everything you post can and will be used you in a court of law. The SEC and the U.S. Attorney's Office are now subpoenaing documents. All the public arrogance, some call it arrogant, I call it confident. You decide when you find out what I'm working with. Damn. Sorry. Beyonce ego just rose up in my spirit. What I was saying is all that public arrogance did was just make her look guilty, alienate her supporters, and fast track her into getting booted out of her own company. How do you go from the gold standard of Black-owned luxury to a messy boots courtroom drama? I need everyone, in this case, to stop being shady, stop posting on Instagram, and let's find a way to save this legacy. It's a complete tragedy. It really is. Fix it, Jesus. Or Iyanla, honey, either one will work at this point. Next up, we are handing out some shine to our favorite awkward Black girl herself, Issa Rae. Can you believe it's been a whole decade since Insecure entered our lives? To celebrate, Issa is launching a multi-podcast tour to look back at the legacy of the show, the music, and the culture that it built. I must say, this is how you do a victory lap, okay? Issa isn't just sitting at home plotting her next move. Well, yes, she is. But she's also out there engaging with the community and keeping the legacy of the show alive. And I love to see it. So much deserved shine to Issa. Keeping the positive vibes going, more shine for the Time 100 Creators list. A girl can dream, can't she? Time magazine highlighted the digital innovators shaping our world, and some of our faves absolutely showed out and showed up on the list. We have Kevin on Stage, I Show Speed, and even the newcomer on the scene, Olandria. She made the cut, honey, which is crazy and crazy inspiring because I didn't realize that she just debuted herself on Love Island last year. I didn't realize that. So in total, about 30 Black creatives made the list. Now look, there are no published reports of the exact number, and I did not do the exact math because y'all know I don't like numbers like that. But what I do know is that our culture continues to drive the entire internet. To see these independent Black creators getting their flowers on this large scale, absolutely yes. I see you, I applaud you, and I am inspired by you. So keep creating. Now we have to transition from the positive to a mixture of side eye and shade for NFL star Stefon Diggs. I don't even want to speak too much on the situation because I really think it's a sensitive topic. And I also think people should get it how they live it in the bedroom and not have allegations publicly thrown in one direction or another. So I'm going to keep this one short. This is an absolute, certified, triple fried mess. The lawsuit with his former stylist, Christopher Griffith, has blown up into a nightmare of assault allegations, accusations of drugged candy, which I'm assuming means weed gummies, family beatdowns in elevators, honey, and a lawsuit over leaked text messages. First of all, why are we litigating a federal level drama on Instagram stories? But more importantly, the level of toxicity dripping from the entire situation is brazy. Both sides are doing the absolute most, and it's just not it at all. Put down the phones, step away from social media, and let the courts handle this because I can't. This next story is a very specific, highly targeted side eye. Did y'all see that Diddy officially sold his Miami Star Island mansion for $55 million? Now, this is a side eye because I'm officially hating from outside the prison club. And for once in my life, I have absolutely no desire to get in. However, Diddy is literally sitting in a federal prison and just casually made a cool $20 million profit on a house he barely even lived in. How does Diddy have $55 million dropping into his lap while he's sitting behind federal bars and my bank account is struggling out here in the free world? Diddy's prison commissary account has more money in it than my debit card. It's crazy how the ultra rich can face the absolute end of their lives as they know it, and the money still just rolls in. And where is all that cash going? Well, he sold it through his own holding company to a Virginia based buyer. But what's really interesting is how he owned this house free and clear to sell it in the first place. Back when he was desperately trying to get out of jail, his lawyers put together a $55 million bail package. To make it work, Diddy paid off the remaining $19 million mortgage on that property so he could offer it to the courts as clean collateral. It didn't work out in the end because the judge said nope and sent him back to jail until his trial started. So now when he sells it, he gets to pocket all that liquid cash. Honey. Heavy side eye, though, to the fact that he's even allowed to negotiate and sign off on multi-million-dollar deals on estates while behind bars and shade. And knowing that when he eventually walks out of jail in 2027, he has a cool $50 million in cash just sitting there waiting for him. Meanwhile, when he gets out, I'm sure I'll just be happy to have a front buzzer on my apartment building that works without being ghetto rigged with faulty wire, hope, and a prayer. Speaking of legal drama, I think most of us who don't like misogynists anyway are giving a side eye and a smile to Boosie Badazz with a twinge of no one cares. I still love Wipe Me Down though. Boosie was so convinced he was getting a presidential pardon from 4547 that he paid some right wing lobbyist $600,000 to secure it. They told him on New Year's Day that it was a done deal. Well, guess what? The pardon never came. The White House said they never got the application. And now Boosie is suing those lobbyists for his money back. Not to mention the people that Boosie name dropped to get official statements to support his stance, only to be told, I don't know you, I live. Where am I standing as ninjas at? See, India Ari and Nikki Gilbert, that song was not for naught. Side eye to Boosie for trying to be slick and making underhanded deals with the far right for your own personal gain. Side eye to the lobbyists and a side eye to the pure delusion that you can pay your way to a pardon. I'm also going to give a quick splash of shade for Ebro and Rosenberg over there at Hot 97. Well, previously Hot 97. They have their own show now on YouTube. These two got into an incredibly heated, awkward on-air argument this week over investments. Ebro told Rosenberg, you don't have the money to invest in anything. Rosenberg lost it and called Ebro an asshole, and Ebro shot back calling him a bitch and a hoe and a pussy live on the air. Laura Stiles, Sistren, that was your cue to play Brooke Valentine. It's about to be a what? Girl fight? Because what the hell was that? Of course, the co-host disagreed, and that happens all the time, but the name calling, that's taking it to the gutter, ain't it? I couldn't even listen. I watched and listened to maybe 30 seconds of it. I was getting like secondhand embarrassment about the whole thing, but they made it clear the show isn't going anywhere and they are all good, all of them. So all is well that ends well, unless you're talking about investments, I guess. I'm going to go back to some shine and throw it to the Zeus Network, who is celebrating their 8th anniversary as an independent network. I also want to plead to President and CEO Lemmy Plummer, which I've done before, for a hosting job. But that is neither here nor there. That is not what the shine is about. Now, say what you want about the content on Zeus, and Lord knows, I, EYE, have given plenty of side eyes for the constant wig snatching, the constant scratching and beating up and chaotic reality TV. But from a business standpoint, you have to respect the hustle. Staying independent, subscription based, and highly profitable for 8 years in this competitive streaming landscape is no small feat. So, congratulations to Zeus on this milestone. But please, can we get one reunion episode where nobody gets their face scratched? Just one. And I already have the perfect host. But we can talk about those details later. Thanks. And finally, my last topic for this segment is a bit of an outlier compared to all the previous stories I talked about. but I saw it come across my feed the other day and I knew I wanted to talk about it. I may change my mind, but after my side eye to Waymo driverless cars last week, I had to give a futuristic sci-fi shade to this new AI dating trend making the rounds. The founder of Hinge, Justin McLeod, stepped down as CEO last year to launch this new matchmaking company called Overtone. TechCrunch just reported that he raised $18 million in seed funding from major investors. The internet is comparing this app to a Black Mirror episode, Hang the DJ, because it completely gets rid of the traditional dating app layout. Now, I have not seen the episode of Black Mirror at all, but now I'm interested. So I might just binge that actual show. But back to the app. There are no photos. There are no bios, no stats, no text-based chats, and absolutely no swiping. He says he wants to cure swipe fatigue, which I'm actually down for that. So how does it work? Instead of typing a cute bio, you do a spoken audio interview with the AI system. You record your voice, sharing your deepest personal stories and traits. Then the AI evaluates your vocal tone, your personality, and relationship science metrics behind the scenes to find your match. And when the AI finally decides it has found your person, it doesn't just send you a profile. It pops up and explicitly explains to you why it thinks you two are compatible. They even got famous relationship expert Esther Perel to join the board of directors to bring some legitimacy to it all. Now, if you don't know who she is, and by you, I mean me, Esther is considered the queen of modern relationship therapy and a proponent of erotic intelligence, the ability to understand, navigate, and express your sexuality and desires in a healthy, fulfilling way. I have never heard the term, which might explain a lot about why I'm single. But moving on, the plan is to begin testing this service in New York City by the end of the year. I don't know how I feel about this. Are we so removed from human connection that we are outsourcing our flirting to computer algorithms? And honey, I'm a, I'm a, I'm a flirt. And wait a minute, it analyzes my vocal tone. Honey, I already sound like a pubescent teenage boy on a good day and a 5-pack a day smoker on my worst. So I record my voice in alto, and now AI decides that my vibrations are the perfect match for the starving artist in Brooklyn who plays the bass guitar but happens to love karaoke just as much as I do. I'm sorry, but if an algorithm falls in love with another algorithm, I can't comprehend that meaning you and I are going to get along in real life. What if AI says you are charming, witty, and compatible, but then I meet you and you show up to the date, you have zero personality, you got half dead eyes, and you stink. You see what I'm saying? I'm 95% on side eyeing this. I don't want an app trying to curate my soulmate on a spreadsheet. So I would like to go back to the old fashioned classic way of getting rejected in person. You know what I mean? So no AI matches for me, I think. But they are going to start services in New York. I don't know. Should I do an investigative report? What are your thoughts? Would you let an AI clone date for you, or are you staying old school? Let me know in the comments. That was a lot for Shine Shader Side Eye, right? But we made it to the end, guys. We are at Read the Room. And this Read the Room is very, shall I say, highly legislative. I need the lawmakers in Washington to pull up a chair, sit down, and officially read the room. Now, if you glance at your phone or roll through the news feed at all this week, you probably read that the House of Representatives just voted to pass the Sunshine Protection Act to permanently end daylight savings time. They want to ditch the switch or lock the clock so we never have to set them again. To be fair, they do have receipts based on available data. Switching the clocks twice a year causes a 6% spike in traffic accidents, a rise in workplace injuries, and cardiologists report a jump in heart attacks every March when we lose that precious hour of sleep. But if I'm being completely real with you, from where I'm standing here in NYC, it is a minor inconvenience, right? I mean, yes, resetting my clock on the microwave requires a PhD and a prayer, but I get it done every year. And is that really tearing down society? I don't think so. And this is interesting because I totally understand seasonal depression and the night sky saying peekaboo to me at 4:30 p.m. I'm not with it. But it's the trade-off of having an extra hour of sun till 5:30 p.m. in the winter any better. Because on the flip, if we make daylight savings time permanent, the sun is not going to rise in New York City in December, let's say, until 8:30 in the damn morning. Commuting to work, kids standing on the bus stop, and everybody trying to navigate in the freezing streets and pitch black middle of the night darkness is giving Gotham City. No, ma'am, and no, sir. The argument, however, is that with a little extra evening light in the winter, it's going to be good for the economy and it will boost shopping, for instance, right? I, EYE, am not, KNOT, thinking about shopping at 5 p.m. when it's 12 degrees outside, even if the sun is out. All I'm hoping for is that the landlord set my thermostat in the building anywhere between project heat and hell. If I'm honest, now that I've had time to think about it, I don't see the hoopla in fighting for a change to something that requires my attention twice a year. When the fact is, there are things I am legally required to do every single day of my life that I would rather not, like working. Can I get an amen? Amen. If we are going to use the full sweeping power of the federal government to rewrite the rules of modern history, why are we wasting all that legislative energy on an hour of sunlight? We have much bigger fish to fry, okay? So today, I am officially introducing the Plenty of Tiff legislative package. Let's stop fighting the sun and start fixing the things that actually matter. First up, the Holiday Realignment Act. Why on God's green earth is Halloween still on a random weeknight? The moms and dads out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Have you ever tried to herd 30 hyperactive kids dressed as Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, and all the men's and women's through the streets on a Tuesday at 6 or 7 o'clock p.m., knowing they're going to want some candy when they get home? Then you have to fight for your life to get their cute, hyperactive asses to bed for school the next day. And for the Fuck Them Kids Club that I belong to, I'm joking. Auntie love the kids. We want to maximize party time and our adult costumes. You know the kind, the slutty ones you can literally never wear anywhere else at any other point at any time during the year. Under my proposal, Halloween is officially and legally observed on the last Friday of every October. Period, point blank, poo, because everybody wins. The NFL clause. We love the NFL, but Sunday night football, especially the Super Bowl, is a psychological trap. You're trying to enjoy the game, but the Sunday scaries, honey, are whispering in your ear about tomorrow's 9 a.m. meeting. Move the major games to Saturday. Give us a full 24 hours to process our team's crushing loss before we have to turn in those TPS reports. If you remember the movie Office Space, you know exactly what reports I'm talking about. And while we're restructuring the week, we need to talk about erasing Tuesday. Hold on and hear me out. I was actually surprised by this as well. And during my research, I found that this makes sense. Public opinion, me included, Mondays are the worst. It gets a bad rap from me and probably never won't, but science disagrees. Studies show that employees' stress peaks at exactly 11:45 a.m. on Tuesday. Who knew? But let's think about it for a second. On Monday, you're still coasting from the weekend, catching up, faking your way through the day, but by Tuesday, all of Monday's slacking has now caught up to you. The workload lands all at once. Your weekend energy is at zero, and you realize now, okay, I got 4 days left to make it happen. So Tuesday is basically scorched earth. The solution? Delete Tuesday. Just erase it. Split those 24 hours evenly between Friday and Monday, and boom, automatic, perpetual 3-day work weekend. You are welcome, America. But let's bring it back to the seasons, okay? Because if lawmakers are so worried about our mental health and daylight, let's talk about the real enemy, winter on the East Coast, specifically in the North. Once November hits and the clocks roll back, it gets pitch black outside by about 4:15 p.m. It is a human rights violation to expect me to type an email about deliverables while the sun is actively dying in my face. So I am proposing the SAD Compensation Act. And yes, that stands for Seasonal Affective Disorder. If an employer expects us to work while experiencing metaphysical winter dread, they must legally pivot from a coffee culture to a tiki culture. Now, I'm not talking about getting completely wasted on the job. I'm talking about medical light therapy for the soul. If it's freezing and dark before 5 p.m., Employers must legally provide a continuous, low-dose stream of rum, coconut, and pineapple juice. Picture a gray, freezing, snowy January afternoon. You're at your desk in a heavy puffer jacket, but you are sipping on a Bahama Mama with a tiny neon umbrella. Your seasonal depression instantly gone. And when the summer finally arrives, we reverse it with mandatory summer Fridays. In the Northeast, summer is a scarce, precious resource. We endure 6 months of gray, muddy slush for 8 weeks of beautiful weather. If a job can feasibly be done in 4.5 days during July and August, employers must grant 4.5 day work weeks during the summer. And besides, human productivity drops by roughly 90% after lunch on a summer Friday anyway. Everyone is already staring at beach traffic on Google Maps, or in the case of remote workers, faking your Slack status because they are sitting at a rooftop bar. Making summer Fridays mandatory just legalizes what people are already doing anyway. Think smart, not hard, people. So forget the Sunshine Protection Act. Call your local representative today and tell them you want a Bahama Mama bill. So what about you guys? Are you team give me that extra hour of afternoon sun? Or are you like me and absolutely refuse to crawl out of bed in the pitch black to go to work? Hit me in the comments and let me know. Opinionated Diva for president. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. You already know what to do. Like this episode, hit that subscribe button, and share this episode with that friend who definitely needs to hear some mess today. As always, the conversation doesn't stop here. So follow me on Instagram at Opinionated Diva and on TikTok at The Opinionated Diva so we can keep it chaotic all week long. Until next week, keep your shine bright, keep your side eyes sharp, and keep your standards higher than Diddy's bank account. I'm Tip, The Opinionated Diva, and I am out of here. Peace.